Once again, a warm welcome to all. So, let us move on to another very important aspects in plant systematics. That is a very important part of plant systematics, nomenclature. Plant nomenclature. Okay, so let us discuss what are the different rules in nomenclature and what you mean by nomenclature and why this is important. Okay, so what is nomenclature? You know, we all have names. So only because of that we can identify themselves and we can communicate easily by calling their names and so on. Okay, so names are very important, and here assignment of scientific name to a plant, that is known as plant nomenclature. Okay, so we have to distinguish plant. So in our common field, you know, we will call plants by using some names. For example, coconut, arecanut, mango, likewise. But these names are known by differently in different countries. So it will be difficult for us when we visit another country and say we need some coconut. Likewise, so there need some common names, some scientific names for all, universal names for a particular plant. So this universal name for a particular plant, that assigning scientific names to plants is called nomenclature. Okay. So name is very important to identify the object. So if it is not proper, it will be finally reach in confusion. So we need a proper scientific name. This process is known as nomenclature. Okay. So why we need a name? I already told you it is very important for communication. It's an important means of communication and it serves as a key to literature published. Okay. So in order to search about details, about a description of a plant, we need its name. Okay. And most commonly we people use common names. So there are common names for all plants. So they may be different in different countries, different states, even different district. It is different. It may be vary. For example, we can have different items known by different names in various parts of Kerala. Okay, but item is same but known by different names. So this may cause confusion. So one plant may have different common names depending upon the language. This is not a scientific way. So we have to avoid this and we have to follow a proper scientific naming system. Okay. So local names and common names, they are causing confusions. So in order to avoid this, we need a scientific name. For example, mango. Mango is Mangifera indica. But mango is known by 50 different names. Okay, 50 different names are the English names for mango. So we have to avoid this confusion. So we can give a name Mangifera indica. That's in all over the world, mango is having one scientific name, that is Mangifera indica. Okay, so these are the demerits of common names. So we need a scientific names. Okay, and some another disadvantages are 2 or more plants may have same common names. Okay, so in Kannur we use one name for a particular thing. In Trivandrum they use the same name for another thing. So this way the name, for example, one common example in different parts, we know papaya. Papaya is known in Malayalam in different names in different regions. For example, Kappaka, Kappalanga, like many Karmus, like different names. So it may cause confusion when we visit another place. So that is a disadvantage. And many species, especially they are universal and but they cannot be recognized by common names. Okay, and these common names are not following any rules. So it based on the local locality or in the local language it is given, not based on any rule. Okay, and no consistency in its usage. Okay, so different common names in different language for a particular plant. Okay, so they never tell about the rank and classification, that we will discuss later. For example, there are different ranks of taxa, species, genus, family, order. Okay, so it never telling nothing about these ranks of taxa. So these are all some disadvantages of common names. So in order to avoid this, we need scientific names. Okay, so that's the reason for scientific names in order to avoid this. So it will precisely explain all the characters, and it is worldwide in application, and it is based on some particular rules, and also indicate a taxonomic rank. I already told you ranks of taxa. Everything will be there in a scientific name. Okay, so assigning name to a plant is known as nomenclature, plant nomenclature. It is based on certain rules and recommendations. Who will provide these rules and recommendations? International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. Okay. So, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature determines or they provide the rules and recommendations for naming. Okay. So, you cannot name a plant by your own choice. You have to follow these rules, then only this name will be published, and that will be acceptable to all people in all scientific community in all over the world. So you have to follow a rule, that is International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. Okay. So that is in brief, in short, it is known by ICBN. So it deals with names of extinct as well as living. Okay. Fossil members also named by this rule, and living members also named by this rule. Okay. So according to this, there is only one correct name for a particular plant. Only one correct name for a particular plant. That is very important, and this nomenclature is based on the rules, that is International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. So you have to thoroughly know this International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. Okay. So now we are going to discuss how this code derived in scientific world, what are the history, okay, and how it is performing. See, so what language we used? So that's a question. So in we like Malayalam names. Okay, for if you want in your place you find out a new plant and you want to give its name. So you will give you cannot give a Malayalam name for it, because there are you have to follow the rules. International rule. So what is the rule? It says that scientific name should be in Latin language, because many years back in European countries people widely used the Latin language. So that's why Latin became the language for scientific name. Okay. So now it is available in English and other language also. Restrictions are somewhat removed, but Latin names are mostly taken. That's taken from common names used in ancient Greek and Rome. So what the people used in common name, that is converted in Latin. For example, Mangifera indica. You can see the term mango, that is the indica, Indian. So the term Indian is converted, Latinized. That is why indica. Likewise. Okay. Then history of nomenclature. When you discuss it, it's first in the 18th century. People used polynomial system. First half. What is polynomial? Poly means many names. So many names. What is polynomial? What is polynomial? See, the name having several words. See, one example is here. Altheia, Madara Seppana, Subrotundo, Folio Mulli. It's very difficult to read. This is a polynomial. So this is the polynomial used for a plant, Sida cordifolia. Sida cordifolia is a plant in our local areas. You can see that is Kurundoti in Malayalam. So Sida cordifolia is the scientific name. That is a binomial system. Only two parts for the name. Sida is a generic name, genus name. Generic name. Cordifolia is a specific name. So two part only. Sida cordifolia. But you think what people did in 18th century, it's a long line, long term, very difficult to read and remember. That is polynomial system. So from polynomial system, that is the first used. Now it is binomial system. Okay. So first effort of this system of nomenclature is done by Alphonse de Candolle. You know about de Candolle. In the first part of our class in the history we discussed it. Alphonse de Candolle. Okay, so Alphonse de Candolle first used this in his book Louis de la Nomenclature Botanique. Okay, after the first International Botanical Congress in Paris, I already told you there are international code of botanical nomenclature. This code is published after every conferences of all taxonomists of all over the world. This meeting is known as International Botanical Congress. So its first meeting was held at Paris in 1867 and that is known as Paris Code. Okay, so first International Botanical Congress, that is actually the first congress, the meeting where nomenclature introduced, that is in 1867 at Paris, known by Paris Code. In that Alphonse de Candolle, he published, he discussed this first. Okay, and later this Paris Code is actually not at all satisfied. So later Rochester Code in 1892 in the place Rochester, and after that many code, then that code, each code is known by the place where the meeting is held. Okay, so likewise Vienna Code is there, Rochester Code, Paris Code, then Shenzhen Code, likewise. Okay, so what all it indicates is these are the meetings of international botanist, taxonomist for some amendments, for changing the rules, or for actually for reviewing, etc. So first such meeting was at Paris, that is known as Paris Code. Okay, now so these are some examples. Last one is in 2017, that is in Shenzhen in China, the Botanical Conference, and its meeting minutes, everything converted in the form of a book, that is Shenzhen Code, that published in 2018. After 2017 meeting, the code published in 2018, that is the latest one, Shenzhen in China. Okay, 2017. Before that you can see in 2011 it is Melbourne. In Melbourne that is held Melbourne Code. See, Melbourne Code. In 11 Melbourne Code, 17 Shenzhen Code. 6 years gap. Okay, so now next will be in 2023. Clear? So then Vienna Code, St. Louis Code, Tokyo Code, Berlin Code. I hope you understood what it means. In every botanical congress, botanical conference of mainly for discussing all the things, especially nomenclature, rules and recommendations, after the meeting they will publish, that is the code. Okay, so last one is the most latest code is Shenzhen Code from China. Clear? Okay. So what is International Code of Botanical Nomenclature? You can see this is a precise, simple system of nomenclature by botanists of all over the country. Okay, by botanists of all over the country. What is actually the purpose? Purpose is to indicate taxonomic rank. So I already told you taxonomic rank. Mangifera indica, mango. Mangifera is the taxonomic rank genus. Indica is the species. And it belongs to a family, that is Anacardiaceae. That is another rank. Okay, it belongs to an order, that is another one. So likewise, then class, so division, likewise. So these are the different ranks. So I will discuss in detail. Okay, so purpose of naming is also to indicate a taxonomic rank. Then the code aims to provide a stable method of taxonomic group. Okay, so avoid and rejecting use of name. If one name is not suitable, you reject it. Okay, so that's also provision is there for acceptance and rejection of names. So it is a universal all over the country and very simple and very precise system. Main purpose is to indicate taxonomic rank. Okay, so this elementary rule I already told you. Naming first binomial by Linnaeus in his Philosophia Botanica. Then 1813 detailed rule by A.P. de Candolle, and he published his presented in the Paris Code. Okay, so de Candolle was actually the first one behind the nomenclature. Okay, then ICBN due to specific reasons and in order to separate plant kingdom from other organisms. So International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, there are some demerits, some other things also included there. So in order to differentiate it from other organisms, there are bacteria, cyanobacteria, etc. It is modified and now it is redesignated as ICN. That's very important. So now this is redesignated as what? ICN. Okay. So this is redesignated as ICN. You have to remember it. So it is given in your syllabus, ICN. So International Code of Nomenclature. ICN is International Code of Nomenclature for algae, fungi and plants. This is very important. So other organisms removed from this. Other organisms removed from this. So actually first one is what? ICBN, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, that is redesignated as ICN for algae, fungi and plants. This is a recent one, very important point. Then now we can study codes of nomenclature. So there are certain rules and recommendations. What are the rules, principles, recommendations? That is very important, proposed by ICN. Okay. So it is held in different places in every 6 years. I already told you, last one is in 17, now next is in 23, every 6 years. And proposal for nomenclature changes and changing the rules were discussed in the meeting and implemented. And it is published, see, as a code. The name of the code is where the meeting was held. Okay. So changes also published in their website. Now it is available electronic that is e-content in website also. Okay. So ICN. Now what are the different things included in a code? So we have to study. So there are 3 divisions. First part is the principles, second part is the rules and recommendations, and third part is the provision for modification. So what a code includes? Principles, rules and recommendations and provisions of modification. So for you, a brief account only want to study, that principles only want to study. Okay. So what are the ICN principles? So just to study the 6 principle, you have to by heart it. Usually for the examination, this is a always asking a compulsory question. So International Code of Nomenclature, ICN, it's 6 principles. So let us look one by one. First one is botanical nomenclature is independent of zoological and bacterial nomenclature. See, for animals and for bacteria, there are some other rules of nomenclature. So it is entirely for plants, algae, fungi and so on. Okay. So botanical nomenclature is independent of zoological and bacteriological nomenclature. That is the first principle. Understood? Okay. Now second principle is application of names of taxonomic group is determined by means of nomenclature type. What do you mean by that? In order to describing, while describing a plant, you need a material. So based on that you have to describe it. That is known as type material. Okay. So for this, while describing a new name, for example, Mangifera indica, you are giving a new name. So you in your hand you have a small twig of Mangifera indica. So based on that twig you will describe. So every such description, naming, you need a material, that is type. For every taxa you need a type. So application of names of taxonomic group is determined by means of nomenclature type. It may be a drawing, it may be a material, whatever it may be. That is type. We will discuss it later. Okay. Then third one is nomenclature of a taxonomic group is based on priority of publication. Okay. So if in 1857 a scientist found out a plant and named it, but in now 2021 another scientist describing same plant and he is telling it as different or same. So we have to look it in detail. So it is mainly based on priority of publication. Who first published it? That is very important. So nomenclature of a taxonomic group is based on priority of publication. Okay. See next. Each taxonomic group, that may be a genus or a species or a family, whatever it may, with a particular circumscription, position, description, position and rank, can bear only one correct name. It need have only one correct name. Okay. So the earliest, that is in accordance with the rules. So the correct name that is in accordance with the rules is accepted. Others all rejected. Okay. So, Mangifera indica is an accepted name. So, when you are telling this is wrong, then you are giving another name. Then based on the nomenclature, they will study in detail and find out which one will be that apt one, the earliest one that will be accepted. So and it need this mango have only one scientific name, that is very important. So, position, rank, description. If a plant having, it need only one scientific name. So, that is the next important point. Next point, scientific names are treated in Latin regardless of the derivation. Should be treated in Latin. We already told you that Latin language is the language for scientific name. Another one. Rules of nomenclature is retroactive unless expressly limited. What do you mean by that? The rules apply to work done before the acceptance of these rules. So, before the acceptance of this rule means if the rule is publishing this year, some plants are already described earlier, that also included. So, that also have the same rule applied. So, rule applied to work done before the acceptance of these rules. So, that is retroactive unless expressly limited. So, these are the 6 important principles of plant nomenclature. You should by heart it, important 6 principles. Okay. So, now let us look one by one. So, before that, the latest code, about a few words regarding latest code. So, 18th International Botanical Congress held in 2011 Melbourne, Australia made some changes. That code permits electronic publication also, that e-publication, online publication. So, that code permits online publication in 18th International Botanical Congress, and Latin diagnosis is not a compulsory one. Latin diagnosis, Latinizing name is not a compulsory one. Okay. So, you can use English also. So, that is in the article 39. This is 2 amendments in the 18th International Botanical Congress. See. So, you can publish it online, no need to publish in book, that is hard copy is not required, not necessary. You can publish in online and no need of Latinization. Okay. Now, what about 19th International Congress? This is held in China in 2017 and that is known as Shenzhen code. So, International Botanical Congress in China in 2017. This is the code published one, book its front page, Shenzhen code in 2018. So, the amendments are 1 fungus, 1 name, 1 fossil, 1 name are the important changes. So, fossils they are taken from different time. If it is same, having different names, that's what may create confusion. So, a fossil should have only one change. And the concept of anamorph and telomorph. What is anamorph? Is the name for the sexual reproductive stage, and telomorph is sexual reproductive stage. Fungus also named by using these reproductive parts. So, that is also avoided in this system. Okay. That is the concept of anamorph and morphomorph have been eliminated. So, fungus having only one name. Okay. Then Shenzhen code supersedes, means it is the newer one than Melbourne code, published 6 years ago, or Melbourne code is 6 years ago, and after 6 years in 19th Botanical Congress in China, this Shenzhen code published. It is written in English. Shenzhen code is written in English. Okay. Melbourne code also translated to China, English, Japanese, etc. Shenzhen code also available in several languages. So, Shenzhen code having some modifications that I have given in the last slide, and Shenzhen code is actually no need of Latin. Here also you can publish in English. Okay. Then in the Shenzhen code, the modifications made in the new version, that book available, and code is amended every 6 years. Now, in the next is 2023. And this is actually the Shenzhen is 115th anniversary of first rule. First rule is in Paris code. Now, it is in the after 115 years this Shenzhen code published. Then this code is a stable method of naming, and error is somewhat all avoided, and it is very clear one. Algae, fungi and plants are covered in this code. Algae, fungi and plants are covered in this. No bacteria, no animals. Okay. And the principles, the 6 principles form the basis that we studied. 6 principles form the basis, no change in the principles. And there are detailed provisions, they are divided into rules and articles. Okay. So, there are rules and articles also. And this provision, this code also applied to fungi, plants, fossil or non-fossil, etc. Okay. And names are conserved, protected or rejected based upon the meeting or held. They can accept or reject. Then, what are the new highlights in Shenzhen code? You have to write a brief account on Shenzhen code. So, it is an open access database available in online. All names registered in online databases. So, when you check, you can find out. When you check Mangifera indica, you can see what are the correct name, what are the older names, everything available. All details where the plant type, material deposited, its locality, everything. Rules of fungi, it's a special chapter it is given. Okay. In future, usually it may be replaced by International Mycological Congress. Okay, fungi changed into International Mycological Congress also. Okay. Now we are moving to discuss ranks of taxa. So, what is ranks of taxa? So, taxonomic group of any rank is referred as ranks of taxa. So, principal ranks of taxa in descending order. What are the ranks of taxa? See, rank and taxon it is given. So, kingdom is the first rank and the taxon is plant. Sorry, it is plantae. So, one mistake here. It is actually what? It is plantae. Kingdom, plantae. See, okay. Now, division or phylum is Spermatophyta. The taxon is Spermatophyta. Class is the next rank and taxon dicotyledone. Rank, order, taxon Malvaceae. Rank, family, taxon Malvaceae. One example I have given for family Malvaceae. Several family you studied in Bandaman Hooker, more than 200 families. Okay. Then genus, so one more mistake. Genus here it is wrong. So it is the next tax rank, that is next rank is species. Okay. Next rank is species, and genus you can have an example Mangifera. For species you can have an example Indica. Okay. So genus you can write. If you want, you can write Mangifera. Mangifera, okay. And species, you can write Indica. Okay. So, these are the rank and taxon. Okay. Family, one example Malvaceae. So, genus, one example Mangifera. Species, one example Indica. So, here you can write under Malvaceae, if you want, you can write here you can use, I will rub it and so here you can have hibiscus, one example, shoe flower, you can have hibiscus, here you can correct it and you can have Rosa sinensis, okay, hibiscus, Rosa sinensis. So, that is because I write like this, Malvaceae is the family and hibiscus belongs to Malvaceae, Rosa sinensis is the species. Okay. This is how rank and taxon arranged. Now, next is secondary ranks of taxa may be there under each tribe, section, series, variety and form. No need to explain. This is the ranks of taxa is the first one. Second one is rules of priority. What is rules of priority? So, in the principle 3 and 4, it deals rules of priority and its limitations. What it includes is each family or taxon of a lower rank with a description and etc. need only one correct name. So, each taxon need only one correct name. Okay. After identifying legitimate or illegitimate means that follows the rules and everything correct, that is legitimate. Not following and wrong is illegitimate. So, after identifying whether it is according to the rule or it is correct name selected, that is accepted. Other one is rejected. That is rule of priority. That is one is The correct one based on the rules is accepted, others are rejected. Okay, one example I can give you. Priority, to explain rule of priority. One plant, namely Nymphia. Nymphia, you know, our common ambal in Malayalam, water lily. So Nymphia, its name is Nymphia nauchali, Nymphia pubescens, Nymphia taurus. Explained by this Bohm, Willett, Hook. They are all the authors who given the names. Okay. So as per a rule of priority, Nymphia nauchali was selected as correct name because it is first published one in 1768. See, all others are after that. So here we are giving the priority in publication. That is rules of priority. So those published first one will be accepted. See, so it bears the earliest date of publication. Others are designated as synonyms. Others are designated as synonyms. So this is the accepted correct name. Others are synonyms. Okay. So when there are names coming like this, you have to accept the first published one if it is follows the rules and regulations. See, so that is the rule of priority. Understood? Okay. Now, next one is author citation. Here I have given one example. So when an author describes a taxon and giving a name, his name is also given as abbreviation, short name. Okay. Example, Anona squamosa, our Atachaka. Anona squamosa is a name. Followed by L. What is L? Linnaeus, short form of Linnaeus. Linnaeus explained, Linnaeus described this taxon. Okay, and given name. So author name is put after the name of the plants in abbreviation, in brief. Not full name, in abbreviation. So that is a very short abbreviation. This is known as author citation. This is also a part of the principle, author citation. Okay. So very easy, we can say Linnaeus described this, Linnaeus given the name. Okay. So author name is very important, giving it last, and its abbreviation, short name is given. That is author citation. Understood? Okay. So when a name is published jointly by two authors, it will be confusion for you. So how it will write? Jointly by name, names are connected by et, or you can use the appresent, this symbol you can use. Okay. So example, this plant is described by Subarao and Kumari. So you can use this apprehend. Okay. Appresent you can use this symbol. If a name is published by more than two authors, 3 or 4 authors together describing a name, so you can write this et or et al. You can use this. For example, see here, this name published by different names, Sandhya Rani, Karuppusamy, Pulliya. So how it will write? Ciropegia Pulliya et al. Means it follows some other names. Who are they? Sandhya Rani and Karuppusamy. So you can write it as. So when a name plant is published by a single author, no problem, you can write, for example, Linnaeus, you can write L, okay, in short form. More than only 2 author, you can use et or the symbol appresent, or you can use more than 2 authors, you can use et al. Okay. Last part is typification. What is typification? It is given in the article 7 to 10 of the ICN. Okay. So application of name of taxa or below rank of the family is determined by nomenclature type, that is for genus and species. When you describe, you need a type. What is a type? Type is the element or a constituent to which the name of taxon is permanently attached. Okay. So name of the constituent or element to which the name is permanently attached. So when you are going to describe a plant, giving a name, in your hand you have an original material, a plant, or you have a diagram or an illustration in with you, that is drawn by you. That is the original material based upon which you are naming, you are giving description. So that material is known as what? Type. Okay, I will give. So there are different types of types. For example, first type is holotype. What is holotype? Specimen or illustration used by author or designated by author as nomenclature type. So, it was selected by the author from a single gathering made by collector. For example, I am going to describe the plant. I am going to giving name Mangifera indica. I am going to giving the name. You just imagine. So, I collected this plant from my field. I have it the twig of Mangifera, and so many twigs I collected and prepared herbarium. Okay. So, from that one twig, one herbarium I have taken, the best one. So, based on that, I will give a description of the Mangifera indica, the plant, that is a habit is tree, its leaves arranged reticulate, reticulate venation, alternate arranged leaves, flowers, color, everything regarding that particular plant, I will describe based on that material, that is the type. So, the author who used the material for describing, that is the original author from a single gathering. That is the collector is those who collect. Here I am the collector, I am taking the plant. That is holotype. See, okay. Now, any duplicate of the holotype means I already told you I have 2 or 3 or 4 such herbaria, but from that the original one I took, that is a holotype. Others are the duplicates, that is known as isotypes. Okay. If there are 5 specimens and herbarium made from that, one is holotype, all others are isotype. I hope you understood well. Okay. Now, this is a herbarium material. This one I selected to describe the plant and giving name, and this is the holotype. I designated it as holotype. And somewhat the same, many are with me, all others are known as what? Isotype. See. Now, next is paratype. What is paratype? A specimen cited other than holotype or isotype, any other material, that is paratype. So, if a taxon described based on more than one gathering, so I can describe by using many plants, many herbaria. So, other designate one as holotype and isotype, others are also used for description, that is known as paratype. Okay. Now, what is syntype? When any specimen cited by the author when there is no holotype. Original material actually is not designating, but I am using an author using a material when there is no holotype, that is syntype. When there is no holotype, he uses another material, that is syntype. Then, what is lectotype? Lector means new. Means I have given a name, I have described a plant. But after many years back, that material is not available, that type is not available. So, a new author will describe the plant by using another material. That new author using a type, that is known as lectotype. Okay. So, a specimen designated from the original material or a new one you can use. So, when a lectotype is producing, when the holotype is not available, that time another material is another type is taken as holotype, that is known as lectotype. Okay. So, if a holotype lost or destroyed, lectotype is chosen from isotype. Okay. I hope you understood well. I have prepared a holotype in 1900, you think, for Mangifera, but now it is 2020. When somebody is searching for the holotype, it's not finding, it's damaged or it's not available. So, what the new author do? New author will select a herbarium from the collection, from the isotype, and designated it one from the isotype and designated it as the holotype. So, that is lectotype. See. Okay. So, there are different type material: holotype, isotype, paratype, syntype, lectotype. So, just to given a brief account, only study a brief account of the type. Okay. Now, last one is neotype. A specimen or illustration selected to serve as type is no original material available, everything missing, no isotype, no holotype, nothing available. So, a new one is selected, new plant designated, a new material designated when all material is, for example, a flood or something happened, everything damaged, what happened? So, we will assign a new herbarium as type, that is known as what? Neotype. See, so lectotype is from the available isotype, but no isotype available, nothing available, a new material is used for designation, that is known as neotype. So, that is all about a type material. So, I hope you understood well. So, here you can see a brief account. What is holotype? On briefing, a specimen designated by author in the original publication. Isotype, its duplication, duplicate of holotype. Lectotype, when holotype lost, he will take isotype, and from isotype or from others designate, that is lectotype. Neotype, everything lost, a new material. So, this is a herbarium sheet designated as type. Okay. So, that is all for today's have. So, I took a long time for a long duration this class, otherwise it will be broken. So, what happens, what studied in this class is what is rules of nomenclature, what is the significance of nomenclature, what are the principles of nomenclature, what is the latest code Shenzhen code, what is ICN, what are the major basic rules of priority, and then type taxa, that is and ranks of taxa, then typification. What are the different types? Okay. So, study very well, very important. It will help you for all your future studies, taxonomic studies, everything. So, what is binomial system? What is ranks of taxa? How you will name a plant? What are the things you have to follow while naming? What is type? So, very important. Take your own time, study well, prepare notes. Okay. So, have a nice day.